Welcome to the Light of Sirio podcast. My name is Dori Fari and I will speak with a realized spiritual master about his views on life and the topic of spirituality.
Savan Kirpalu Ajaib Tera Sahara Mera sharan Tu mera prema Savan Kirpal.
We are now arrived to our season 6, episode 3, and this, as we began season 6, it's questions and answers. Before we begin with a question, I would like to welcome Master Sirio here with me. Welcome, dear Master.
Thank you.
Before we jump to our question, I would like to say to anyone who is interested in trying meditation practice that we have another podcast which is called the Daily Guidance Meditation Podcast, where you can find daily a new episode with guided meditations from Master Sirio. You can very well follow the instructions there and make your own experience. And if you have anything to tell me, ask, or if you have questions which you would like to send to the podcast to be answered, then you can do it to the siriopodcast@gmail.com. And for any further information, you can visit the siriosatsang.com website. Let's go to our question, which was sent to me via email. So it goes like this. I have a question for Master Sirio about detachment within relationships. To spiritual seekers is advised to develop detachment. I know that some spiritual seekers avoid all meaningful relationships, even that of having a spiritual master, with the aim to stay detached. What type of detachment is in reality asked from spiritual seekers in relationship towards people they love? How does such detachment look like? Is it at all possible to remain detached to people you spend much time with and whom you love? I'm interested what is the desirable condition here according to Master Sirio. So please, Master, what is the desirable condition about detachment to people? Because then, of course, there is detachment to objects and possessions, but here we talk about relationships.
This is a very interesting question. $1,000 question. to my to my understanding. Because for those who follow spiritual path, or means for seekers of truth, those who are trying to improve their life, to understand the dynamics of life, and to grow into a better human being, realized person, usually there are several ways, there are several paths. There are those kind of paths, as the person putting the question mentions, those who try to be detached from everything, not get involved with anything, observe life. This is mainly the way of the monks. Those who renounce to family life, to having belongings, what they call in India sannyasins, not the Osho sannyasins. Those are different. They are too involved with the world and with the body, usually. But the traditional sannyasis, those who...
In the real meaning of the word, traditional meaning.
According to the Hindu tradition and to the Hindu teachings, So the sannyasi is the one who renounced the world. He is supposed not to spend time with anybody more than what they advise, not to stay in one place more than they advise, which is 3 days, not having belongings. It's like the path which Jesus used to teach. Because people don't realize, if you watch Christianity nowadays, all the several sects of Christianity, they are full of money, full of attachments, full of worldly things, especially this Vatican here in Italy. So nothing to do with the teachings of that person, the historical person that was called Yeshua, whatever. He advised, if you want to follow me, give up everything. Give away all your belongings to the poor. Don't carry with you 2 dresses. Go barefoot. Come and follow me. And if anybody slaps you on one cheek, you offer the other one. This is very much the way the Christian world behaves. You know about Europe, what has done in the world. The colonies, the slavery, feeling complete cultural people, cultural stories, and people. In America, North America, in South America, in Africa. This has all been done by the Christians, who are supposed to give everything to the poor, have nothing, not care about the next meal, the next day, and just follow me.
I remember once you gave a New Year's Satsang, to which the title was Who is a True Christian? And there also you discussed this topic. And then also you talked, well, I don't say very often, but from time to time you mention St. Francis of Assisi.
Yeah, he was the true Christian.
That he was a true Christian. He really tried to realize.
But even his followers could not be true Christians. He was the true Christian. Even his followers couldn't follow the teachings. So they rebelled against him, they put him aside, and they went their own way, which eventually became part of the church as it is nowadays.
So it seems like that the true and real detachment is not for the masses.
Not for sure. But, now let's go on with the topic. So, one may question, is this the only way of looking for truth? Is this the only way of looking for liberation? Not at all. Now, I'm saying that the teachings of this person, Yeshua, and the teachings of the Hindu tradition, sannyasi, it's this way. You have to give up everything, not having any belonging, and just follow what the will of God is for you, without any care about the tomorrow and the next moment, the next hour.
So does it mean also that one is not supposed to have a work at all?
Not at the least. You live on alms in that kind of life. When you have that kind of choice for your life, for your quest of truth, then you don't have any belonging, you don't work. You just read the scriptures, try to meditate, and realize moksha, liberation, salvation, whatever.
It seems quite rocky path towards enlightenment.
It's a very difficult path, which very few people can follow. And actually, even among these so-called sannyasis, they are full of attachment. If you look at the sadhus in India, nowadays, just this period, there is this Maha Mela going on in India. Just look the way they are, these sadhus. They are full of attachments themselves. Maybe they are naked, but they are full of necklace and so many other things because they mind so much about the look.
Oh yes, that's true.
Indians in general, they are sick about their look. And sadhus, who are the renunciate, they are no less.
Well,
they have their own way of being attached to their body.
Well, but let's say not only Indians, no? There are also other nations.
Yes, everybody but Indians are very special, I tell you.
Yeah, the style is important.
Anyway, let's go on. So the question is it necessary to be like this? Is it necessary to give up everything? Is it necessary not to have a house, not to have a place where you can live? Is it necessary not to have food for the next meal? Is it necessary to go barefoot? If you want an answer from me, then I say not at the least. This is a very difficult path. It's, I would say, almost impossible for most of the people.
Yeah,
because you can do that maybe for a period when you are young.
Yeah, it's not for the masses.
But not even for the same person in different stages of her life. Mm-hmm. Because when you're young, yes, you're healthy, you have a strong body, you can live this kind of life for a few years. But eventually, when you begin growing old, you won't be able to live this kind of life anymore because the health decreases, the vigor and strength of the body decreases, and you need a place where to stay, where to sleep, where to live your life.
But then it's like a trap, let's put it like this. It's a trap situation, like a spiral. Because maybe one decides to do this sannyasi, take up the sannyasi and live this fully detached life. And really, even nowadays, one can do it. A young person then can go and take a few things with him or her, and
there
then
are
just
people who do it even
take the path and go in the world here and there and always find the way. Then maybe you do it for 10 years, 15 years, 20 to say a lot. Then maybe from 20 you turn 40, and then you begin to get tired, less healthy, as you said. But then maybe you need a shelter. Maybe you go to a farm to do some work in exchange to be able to stay there and get some food. And then it's like everything crumbled down, which you built up all your detachments, because then consequently the mind gets attached to those new things, and then one can be understood as a fake person because you were teaching something, you were talking something, you were following, realizing a way of being fully detached, and then what is the consequence of this? Then eventually you go back to being attached to things and live a life in the world.
Well, there is another aspect of it. Most of these people come into an organization, like the Hare Krishna and several others who accept this monk life or create within their organization a section of their mission which is for monks. Mm-hmm. So these people, usually young people, take up this monk life or nun life if it is a woman. You know, it becomes very repetitive after some time because in the beginning maybe you have this enthusiasm, you want to do something great in your life, so you take up this very hard way of life, very difficult way of life. You come into an organization anyway, you have to obey the rules, you have to follow the rules, and you have to be an exemplary person within the lifestyle which you have chosen. And this goes on day by day, week by week, month by month, year by year. At some point, this life won't give you anything anymore. It becomes an habituary life which doesn't create any stimulus within you anymore. Mm-hmm. So you get fed up with it and you want to do something else. But now, by the way, you are maybe 40 or 50. What do you do if you get out of that? You have no skill of any kind. You don't know how to do any work. So what you do? It's a miserable life. You are compelled to stay in that situation, in that organization, which at least gives you a bed to sleep, maybe, and food to eat, but you don't feel it anymore. It's a miserable life. And I tell you, for most of the monks, it becomes like this. For most of the priests, it becomes like this. It's a miserable, frustrated life, which they don't like anymore, but they have to keep doing it for their whole life because they have no alternative. Anyway, let's go on with the topic.
That's what I meant, that it's a trap situation.
Yes, it's
like a spiral that regenerates itself.
That's how it is.
Like a never-ending cycle.
Anyway, is it necessary to live this kind of life to achieve moksha, or as we say on the way of the Master, reach Sach Kand, means the realm of truth, realizing truth in your life? That's what Sach Kand means, realizing truth. Not at the least. Master Kirpal used to say, you learn swimming by staying in the water, by going into the water, not by staying on the land. So if you want to be a swimmer and if you want to learn how to swim, you jump into the water and swim. So water is life. If you want to become a real man that knows how to deal with life, then jump into life and live it. This sterile life of the renunciate, of the one who is observing life and not getting into it, it's a miserable life that doesn't take you anywhere. No moksha at all, just a miserable life. So in my understanding, life has to be lived.
Well, sometimes you also say that the real spiritual person is the one who stands with 2 feet on the ground.
The real spiritual person, but the real man, is the one who can deal and be competent in any situation, capable of doing anything with his hands, with his mind, with his spirit, with everything. That's the real person to me. So a real human being, a real seeker of truth is the one who will be able to deal with any situation and always find a way to go through it and be successful.
Yes, also as Master Kripa said, or used to say, that it's very easy to see God and it's very difficult to become a real man.
Yes, yes. And there is the other saying, God is truth, but truth is not God if this truth is not applied into your life.
Yes, that's right. You even wrote a song in Italian about this.
That's right.
Those who are interested, they can find on the Sirio Satsang YouTube channel. La verità di Dio è Dio non è la verità se non è applicata nella vita. This is just the same title.
That's right. I think the middle way is the best way. You have to get into life. You have to live your life. And it's very good to get married, to have a family, to have a job by which you support your family, support yourself, and maybe be able also to help other people with the money you earn to a certain extent.
And those who live the sannyasi.
Yes, those who live the sannyasi life.
So it also means that it's better to help and help ourselves and then to be helped.
That's right. If I had a prayer always in my mind and in my life, it was always this. Oh God, never put me into the situation where I need and where I need to ask, but always put me in the situation in which I can help and give. So in my life, I always try to earn my living. I've done several jobs in my life and always was able to earn my living. And also from what I've been able to earn through my hard, honest work, I've been able to create this ashram where most of the main costs have been supported by me. Even buying the place, it was mainly done by me. And even nowadays, I keep supporting this place. And many things I do is just selfless. And many things I buy for this place, I buy with my money. I don't use the satsang money. Sometimes I use the satsang money, and sometimes I use my money. Because that's always been my wish, to be a person that is capable of dealing with his life and also help others. And to me, the most important service that I can do is to service to the mission of my master. It has always been like this and it keeps being like this.
Well, you created this place, you maintain this place, and you give the possibility to people to have the chance and the possibility to come to the Sambhani Ashram in Italy and experience this place, because in itself, it's a place to be experienced. Some people do say that it's enough to just stay here and breathe the air in, because it's so charged up. And then, above this, you also give all your programs for free, that you did never leave from giving your spiritual programs.
Yeah, that's what a real seeker of truth should be like for me.
Well, that's also a spiritual master. And what about the being attached or detached to a spiritual master? Because also the question mentioned that some spiritual seekers who are maybe spiritual speakers as well, most probably.
You said it right.
Yeah, it was, how to say, Ibrahim, who said that God made my tongue mistake. They don't want to get into a relationship, not even with the spiritual master, in order to stay detached. But maybe it's it's something else. It just came into my mind. You might remember these people that there was a couple who came for some retreats, and before they used to attend a Buddhist reality in the USA, very big community also there, and really big school of Buddhism, very famous. And they used to go there a lot, attend programs and follow the teachings. And there is a teacher. The girl told me that of this couple, this was a boy and a girl, and they lived together, and so much they tried to take serious these teachings that they decided to not get married, to not have children, to be detached, like kind of a sannyasi, but in a collaboration among themselves. But then she began to feel a deep love for this spiritual teacher, for this master. But I don't mean like falling in love with him as with a man, but when you feel a deep, sincere love for a person who is giving so much good to you, and you feel that, oh, I just love this person, is so important for me. Because a spiritual master is very important in one's life, because it gives so much good to one, And then she also said it, because they had to say everything. In order to be detached, discuss everything with this master. And so she said to this master that she began to feel sincere love for his person, above the respect, also accompanied with a love. And then the master said, no, this is very bad. So then eventually they had to quit that reality, because you can't love that person. When we are children, there are certain our teachers whom we really love, because they are so nice and so good to us and give us good things. And certain teachers we love and others no, but it's normal. And then even more with a spiritual teacher. Of course, I often bring examples from the life of my son, because my little life here around my situation. Now there is this discussion, no? That certain teachers, just one, he can't stand. And it's very difficult for me to convince him that he can't be against this person, because others, he really likes them, and like they have or love them, no? And this is good. But what's the situation with the spiritual master?
I give another point of view, or what has been my experience. When I met Master Kirpal, I didn't follow him because of the teachings, the beauty and the subtleties and the philosophical aspect of the teachings. I didn't follow him because I didn't even know about his teachings. I didn't even read a book of his before I was initiated.
Yes, we know the story, as you said in the beginning of this podcast, in the first episodes, that it was even a problem for him that you...
I didn't know the teachings.
Didn't know the teachings.
Well, it wasn't really a problem. It was a test from his side.
Yes, of course, it was an excuse then.
Anyway, so I didn't follow him for any of these. Beauty of the teachings, the doctrine, the theology, the philosophy, nothing of this. So why did I follow him? Because I fell in love with him. Because I like him. He was terrible with me, and yet I like him very much. Just because the way, even the way he was stern with me, and the way he pushed me away and put me to test, it was perfect. And I understood it right away. It was a test, and that I had to win it. So I stick to this man, even if he was not loving to me and kind to me, just because I like him. I like him terribly. I like his face, I like his eyes, I like the atmosphere which was around him. I like everything. Even if I didn't understand a word of what he was saying. When I listened to his Satsang, I didn't understand anything. But I was watching him, I was looking at him, I saw him so radiant and so beautiful that I thought, my God, this is such a Superman. So that's why I follow him, because I fell in love with him. So I don't understand what it means, following a path, following a master, and not loving this master. If you don't have a master, then it's okay. You don't love the master because you don't have a master. But if you have a master and you don't love that master, if you follow a path and you don't love the path, and you don't love the teachings, and you don't love the practices, then where are you standing? What life is this? It's a life worth nothing.
In my humble understanding, also this love is very important, because this love, this deep and profound love, which is not like a worldly love, this is above any relationship. It's not that when we live together with somebody, with a partner or a husband, wife, or friends or whatever, because you can argue with these people and then you can get offended. So then ego comes too much into play. But when one really deeply and profoundly loves his or her spiritual master and feels deep affinity, a deep connection to this master, then the ego there is dying, is killed. Because if you really love this master, then you can rebel. But eventually what happens, this love is so strong that in the end, instead of fatal conflict, then one becomes capable to bow the head and say, Master, you are the great one. Because maybe in our relationships, we're not always able to say to the others, okay, let it be, or just, it's not so easy to step over. But with the master, this love is the transformative power that really makes that kind of desired transformation on the path that leads us to realization. At least this is my understanding.
Yeah, as you say, we have in life different kind of relations. Like we have parents for sure, and to them we relate in a certain way. We should be respectful and obeyful, but normally it's not like this. There is fight, there is conflict, there is
teenage,
there is a dynamic. Then we have brothers and sisters with whom we fight a lot. If you have them, nowadays it's even difficult to have brothers and sisters in families. Then what? Then we have teachers when we go to school. And as you said, some we love, some we don't. But there also, we should be kind of faithful, learn a different kind of relation, which is different from parents, friends, and brothers and sisters. With teachers, we should be more respectful, something which is not contemplated in this Western world. It's very different in the East. I've seen students in the East so much respectful, even of the books on which they study, like worshipping them. Even the pen with which they write, they have lots of respect for it, because that's how I became capable of writing. That's how I learned to write, by using this pen, so I respect this pen. And the teacher who teaches me, lots of respect. So in the West, it's not like this, because nowadays in the West, there is no culture, there is no good habits, there is only rebellion, and there is only,
everyone is right.
A miserable life.
Everyone is eventually. Right, so eventually it ends up losing lots of important things from sight.
Yeah.
Well, there was like a kind of a shift in the paradigm, and now we shall see the consequence.
The Western world is the world of ego and arrogance most of the time. I mean, it's everywhere, but in the West, very much. Even the politics that we have is very arrogant and very violent.
Well, politics is another universe. Okay, let's not involve politics into this podcast. But as you say, then yes, golden mean, usually that's a good thing, because I mean, before times also in Europe, somebody who was a professor or teacher, that was like an authority. Yes. And they also could do anything to the kids. Just think of the famous Pink Floyd song, Breaking the Wall. So I mean, those people who were born like in the 80s or before the 80s, we all know what this song was
that
about.
Was not good. But
that was
now
too much.
It's just the opposite.
So like now we are
every opposite manifests its opposite.
Yeah, then
now it's the opposite.
Yeah, the golden mean, the midway is always the best.
Anyway, let's go on with the relations. Relations, family, parents, brothers, sisters, teachers. And then maybe you come on a spiritual path and you need an authority. You need somebody to teach you how to walk on the spiritual path. Because without this, you don't get anywhere, in my understanding and in my experience. Because my understanding comes from my experience. So anyway, with the master, it should be a yes, sir relation. Hanji, they say in India, Hanji means yes, sir. So when you hear anybody dealing with the master in India, you hear all the times, yes, sir, Hanji, Hanji, Hanji.
Okay, but maybe they say.
That's the worst.
I would like that. So as I mentioned, there are the spiritual speakers. Then there are also those who speak, yes, 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 and then they do different.
But at least they try.
Yeah, at least they act. Yes.
They act like.
Yeah, like Master Kipa used to say, first come the right thoughts, followed by right words, and then
right deeds.
Right deeds. They result in the right deeds. So that's the desirable condition here.
So anyway, with the master, we should be this kind of people that, yes, master, what you say, it's wisdom, what you say is right, and I just obey and follow. And by I learn, and I make it part and parcel of my life, and I become like you. I become as perfect as you are.
So maybe also there was a shift in the paradigm of spiritual practice, in the sense that before teachers were so much respected. And in this sense, as you described now, because there are of course several aspects of the person of a spiritual master, a realized master, then this is the aspect of a teacher, spiritual teacher. So then we don't have the same kind of respect and awe for our teachers in the school. Then consequently it's difficult to have this kind of awe or holy awe towards the master. But the point is that maybe many people don't notice that the master is not simply a teacher who teaches us how to walk on a path, but the master is doesn't come the right word in English, but like the connection, the
link.
The link, the link that connects us to God, to the realm of the Supreme, to the truth, to the Supreme Consciousness, or whatever words we want to use. But the master is the link, like, as so to say, like the door.
The human pole.
The human pole. So if our connection is not good, healthy, and the question used this term, desirable. So it's not a desirable connection from the sense of the purpose to get to moksha, liberation, to reach Sach Kand. Then if from this sense our connection to the master is not healthy, not strong, not deep, not profound, not a total, real spiritual love, then consequently I might even suppose that the path can't work for such a person.
Not in the least.
But, also there is another thing which just came into my mind, because of course, I'm on this path for some time now. I am lucky and blessed to walk in your footsteps and follow you for years. So consequently, I got the chance to know many people who came and went, and so many kinds of people, many kinds of situations, many kinds of minds and way of thinking and way of seeing things. This is very full of teachings for me. Any meeting, any encounter, I take like a teaching. And also there are those kind of people nowadays who, in the name of this holy detachment, then they attach themselves to many masters. Then what's the truth and the reality behind this thing? Because you said that if I want this path toward, I have to love the master, I have to love the path, I have to love the practice, I have to love the teachings. And then this works. But what does it mean? Because I can love the master, I can love the path, and I can love the practice and the teachings, but I love that other one also. But then how is it like, if one human being is capable, spiritually speaking, because I don't want to confuse things, but like spiritually speaking, I have 100% of love in me. And if I target and give my 100% of love, total 360 degrees love to this one direction, to this one path that leads through this master for me, then I am on this path with a full heart. But then if I follow 3, 4, 5 masters, and I love them, I can sincerely love them, because I am a person of heart myself. I love many people in a sincere way. I love my parents, then they are already 2. I love my son so much. I love my brother, my grandparents. And so one can feel love. And there are those people who are more of the heart, and they are easier to love human beings. But this is another level of love, this kind of spiritual love for a master. That's how I understand. But if you get involved in, between quotation marks, like follow the teachings, attend satsangs or attend retreats with other masters, then you divide this love. Then you don't get 100% nowhere. Then you give, like, if you follow 4, then you have 25% each places.
We must say there are many human beings with different attitudes. And also there are many human beings, but very few who are really trustworthy, who are really faithful and stick to the persons in any field of life they choose to be with, like wife, like children, like friends. So, there are cultures also, no? Polygamy cultures in which a man has 4, 5, 10 wives.
Or 200.
Or 200. Yes, was very wealthy. Was very wealthy. They come to the point of having even, these many wives. What is the point here on a spiritual path? Master Kripa used to say, if you have a pipe and there are many holes here and there on the pipe, but you want to use the water at the end of the pipe so as to water whatever you need to water, and it's full of holes, then eventually at the end there won't come almost any water. It will leak out from all sides. Eventually you won't be able to water the things which you need and want to water. And the same thing is especially on the spiritual path. You need a complete focus to succeed on the spiritual path. You really need to follow 100% the path that you choose to follow. And you need to dedicate your life 100% to the master you choose. The mission of the master must become your own mission. The teachings of the master must become your own teachings. That's how you, let's say, incarnate a path, a teaching, and you make it your own. As I said, there are also prostitutes. They have so many men, no? So, on the spiritual path also,
there are also men who sell themselves, so let's mention this also.
Yes,
not talk
sides,
about like bloody women, okay? So there are people who sell themselves, too many.
There are prostitutes male and there are prostitutes
and let's not go into
female.
details, so then
anyway,
persons who do like this.
So, once I was in India with Sanji. We had been in Rajasthan, we came back to Delhi, and Sanji was going to be in Delhi for a few days giving satsang. So some of the group of the Italians that were with me went to see another master. Why Sanji was there in Delhi giving satsang? So at some point after the satsang there was a darshan session, and I went in the room to have darshan of Sanji, and he asked me, where are these people? This one, and this one. And I said, well, they've gone to see this other master. And he said, oh, interesting. And then he paused for a while, and then he said, these people are like prostitutes. They want to enjoy with everybody. So on the spiritual path, also there are prostitutes, who just like to enjoy with everybody. They are not able to be faithful with anybody. In the same way, if they have a relationship, if they have a wife, they won't be able to be faithful to the wife. They won't be able to be faithful to their children and give what is needed, provide what is needed for their children. They won't be able to be 100% anywhere. They will always be spread, as you said, 25, 10%, this, 10% that. Eventually they come at the end of their life, they've made big soup of so many teachings, but none of these teachings is their teaching.
Well, the trick which many people try to say that, because I am my own master, that I am the God is in me, so I am God, I am the master.
Yes, once somebody told to a master just this, I am the master of myself, and he said, your master, it's a prostitute. Your master, it's a mad somebody.
Yeah, but then...
Because that means that your mind, it's your master. And your mind, it's a prostitute. Your mind, it's a mad somebody.
Yeah, maybe a corrupted thing. And then we don't have that kind of compass that shows us the right direction. Because the master also is the compass on the path.
Anyway, to come to an end with this sentence, I want to say this. Whatever you do, just get fully involved with it. You don't observe because you won't live your life. Don't be detached because you won't live your life. So if you have a family, you have a relationship with somebody and you have children, just get fully involved with it Be the best parents you can be the best husband you can be. If you have a family, you've been born in a family, you have parents, just be devoted to your parents. Have them in all possible ways you can. Be involved. Don't be detached. That's my teaching.
So, thank you. This is very real, very true, and very straightforward, as we can be used to it from you, dear Master, to the point, to the heart.
Master Kripa used to say, do one thing wholly and solely. Means anything you do, just be fully there, be fully involved, do it with all your heart.
Thank you for this very high teaching, dear Master, and thank you for replying this question. I'm sure that this person is very happy now that you replied the question. Those who listen, then I hope you like this episode, then you're most welcome to leave a comment, give a rating to this podcast, give a like, and if you have anything to say to me, then you can contact me through siriopodcast@gmail.com. And what I have to say, that soon the new volume of Sirius magazine will be out, which is due in January, so then you will soon also find Sirius magazine. You can listen to the Daily Guidance Meditation podcast, and now we can listen to a beautiful mantra sang by Master Sirio, dedicated to his masters. And may you be all blessed and have a good life, full of love, peace, harmony, and truthfulness.
And involvement.
And involvement. Thank you, Master.
You're welcome.
Savan Kirpal Ajaib Tera Sahara Mera Sharan Mera Sharan Tum Mera Prema Savan Kirpal Ajaib Tera Sahara Mera Sharan Mera Sharan Tum Mera Prema Tum Mera Prema